the fatso, the chubster, the Papa Pope himself. Mr. Praetus is coming. Let's go. It is official, guys. The Pope himself, the very best hero in Watcher of Realms, at least the #1 hero you want on your account in the late and end game. Praetus, he is coming. We've had rumors, we've had rumblings, we've had mumblings, grumblings, and leaks. Nothing was confirmed until just yesterday when he popped up in the event calendar. It is now 100% a fact, a cold hard fact, that in 2.5 days, Praetus will be live in Watcher of Realms for only the second time ever on a Rada banner. It actually marks just about now, like end of November, beginning of December, the 1-year anniversary since Praetus and all the Arbiter heroes, or the first batch of Arbiter heroes, were introduced into Watcher of Realms. It really changed the game forever in a pretty crazy, pretty pay-to-win way. And it took a tremendously long amount of time for him to finally get a rate-up 15x banner. That did not come until a couple months ago for the anniversary in July. It is now coming for a second time ever. Look at that. Praetus and Uridin on a 15x. We'll talk about Uridin and Praetus again. We're talking about Praetus like every day this week for the rest of the week because this is such a big deal. We'll talk about Uridin and then the implications of this banner and should you summon in 2 days. Tomorrow, because we do have rumors, rumblings, mumblings, grumblings of an Ingrid Ardia banner, we'll talk about comparing and contrasting who's better between Praetus and Ingrid. That'll be tomorrow. Obviously, based on the tone of this video and what I've already said, I do think just in general, all else equal, Praetus is the better hero. But I'd say both are top 3 units. It's Praetus, it's Ingrid, it's Elwyn. And for certain accounts, you should be going for Ingrid. So we'll discuss that all tomorrow. But the cold hard fact of the matter is Praetus is the best hero in the game. He really freaking is. Let's talk about it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So as you embark upon your journey, watching the realms, trying to dominate this game, there are going to be moments when it's a different hero that you need for different things. As you progress and progress and progress, Praetus himself is one of the best, if not the best progression hero in the game. That probably is up for debate. However, what I personally do not think is up for much of a debate is once you reach those deeper portions of the game, when you've kind of beaten everything, and then the point is you just want to dominate, it's all about Praetus. And I think that's what we're all building towards. I think the way this game goes is you want to do as well as, with this genre, not even just this game, you want to do as well as possible in fricking everything as you progress through the game and you reach a point like I'm at and many people are at now that have been playing for a long time, or some people that have been playing for less time but have spent huge sums of money. Once you've beaten everything, you're not going to want to stop playing, or at least the majority of us. If you're watching my channel, if you're engaged with the game, you probably don't want to stop playing. So the next thing to do is just pair this game a new one and completely dominate it. And as you can see right behind my head, Praetus is grayed out. And I've beaten everything in the game at this point, but Praetus is grayed out. So I've not dominated it to the level that I absolutely want. I think that's one of the 2 things you want to do in the game. The second is fill out your Pokédex. You can see I'm 30 short, 180 out of 210. Great opportunity to grab the rarest hero in the game. He ties a couple other lords for as rare as it goes. So I just think this really lines up beautifully for if you don't have him, it's time to go and get him. But like I said, this is not a should you summon. I just want to get into the nitty gritty of why he is the very best, the best there ever was. Because he is, and let me actually just tell you right off the bat, he cannot be power crept. This is a good place to start. Look at this faction, man. This is the most OP, insane, pay-to-win faction. Praetus himself even can lord over Ingrid, who's the only other DPS that can come for him and his throne, right? The only other, non-support unit like Elwyn that is as game-changing as him, arguably. He gets one step above because, yes, she can be the Lord of the Watchguard, but he, when it comes to the most dominant pay-to-win, destroy-the-game faction, the Arbiters, he is the Lord. We just got an epic version, and Elysia's great, but she's certainly not a legendary Lord, as awesome as she is. I cannot imagine anytime soon we are getting a second legendary Arbiter Lord. And if we all take a moment to look within ourselves, look in the mirror, you know that's true. And I also don't see any time soon that this faction could be power crept. This is the pay-to-win faction. Chaos is close. A lot of this is super pay-to-win, but when it comes to the nastiness and the wackiness, it really is the Arbiters. You can just see all of these heroes in their own little ways, except for probably Eunomia, can be super duper OP, but she still is very good and has crazy BP and this, that, and the other. And on top of that, there ain't no epics in this faction. It took us an entire year for Lygia to enter the fray, the first epic ever, and she's a very rare, ancient exclusive epic lord hero, not even a normal epic. Compare that to the Chaos Dominion. We got a couple little epics hiding in here. We've got Vladov the Lord and then 3 normals. You know, I'm not trying to undermine the chaotic faction, the Chaos Dominion, but I'm just trying to say it's so clear. This is the shiny gold faction. They've got the craziest artwork, the craziest ornamentation, the craziest cinematics on those of these that have them. I mean, this is the faction that Moonton, at least for the first year and a half to probably 2 years plus of this game, have designed and envisioned as this is where we make our money. And Praetus lords over all of it. With him on rate up, this is your opportunity to go get him, get the best here in the game, the guy that lords over the whole pay-to-win thing that you will slowly fill out over time, even without paying. And if you do pay, you got to go pay and try to get him. It's basically how it goes. It really is tremendous how strong he is. They would have to add another super OP pay-to-win faction designed from Ancients or a brand new rare currency to overtake this, and we all know that's not going to happen anytime soon. And even if it did, that would just knock Arbiter to like the second, maybe the third best faction. He can't lose his throne. All he could do is maybe have his throne moved slightly to the side because like 1 or 2 people got a bigger throne. And I'm talking over the expanse of 1 to 2 years looking into the future. He's unpower creepable for potentially the rest of the game's existence. And we don't know if the game's going to last more than a year or 2. If that's the case, then definitely the rest of the game's existence. And even if it lasts 5 years, it would take years to get this guy to not be so significant and so powerful. The gist of it is I have a full Praetus guide. You should go absolutely check that out. I show him as a progression unit because very often you see him as a dominating the endgame unit, putting up all the highest scores in Semra and the codexes and things like that, Arena, GVG. But not enough is made of the fact, I believe, that he can also just, if you get him early or you get him before you've beaten all the gear raids and stuff, he can carry you through all that. So I have a guide. Go check it out. So you can check that out for specifics on how he works and everything. What I really just want to talk about is he puts out a lot of damage. There's a single target component. There is an AoE component. His Lord skill is really underrated. And I'm not talking about the hammer, the Praetus button. You know, that obviously, the verdict button, that is not underrated. That is like the strongest thing in the game, depending on how many arbors you have and then how long you wait, whether it's 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 45 seconds, you can land any of these 3 verdicts. Crazy true damage, you get stuns, all that stuff. That is not underrated. But this is crazy. All damage plus 50%, including true damage to all of the arbiters, all the Supreme Arbiters, the Sacred Blessing effect, I should say, for the Supreme Arbiters. This is so strong, and I actually slept on it a little too long, because if you just want to use him as a Lord and you don't need that true damage, you can spam this thing every 15 seconds, getting 8 seconds out of 15 seconds, which is over 50% uptime, on a 50% damage boost to the whole faction. It's just such a stupidly strong skill. So he just kind of checks every single box. He's got everything going on. He's got excellent awakenings, particularly the A1 and the A3. He's a nuts hero. He really is. Let me prove it to you further. Let's go to my website, fastidious.gg, the best website in the realm. We have our filter setting update coming this week. By the end of the weekend, maybe Monday. So look out for that. Advanced filters will be on the hero list. It's going to be phenomenal. And you can sort for things like true damage. You can actually see we have the general thing popped up because I'm in admin view. All that will get filled out. It's very, very cool. So look out for that. But for now, let's just go to our tier lists and let's see. This is basically only Praetus and Eloin have anything that looks like this, where it's just S's left, right, and center. Right? Eloin's got 2 A's over here for 2 of the arenas. Praetus has 1 A in Conquer. Even though you can't deploy him, he's still an A there because he's such a good Lord for those units, and you can still whack his button. And then Torrent, we give him a B. Everything else for Praetus, he's in that class of just him and Eloin, where it's just S and S plus across the board. And if you look at it, it's mostly S plus. You know, there's a couple places like Guild Boss 1 where he's good, not top tier, but can get you 50K easily. Then there's Guild Boss 2 where he's, if not the best tier in the game, maybe the second. I don't know. He's probably the best hero in the game. And that kind of rings true for all of this PvE stuff. You know, there's these two blips over here because he just is not at all built for that content. And he's got these two insane codex levels where he completely dominates, particularly Styx. I guess now Yovar has kind of taken the #1 meta, but still ridiculous. It's so easy triple S-ing with Styx here. And then same thing with AOF, Arbiter Frost. I guess the only exception would be maybe Soul Cadence. But you can see the fact that he's just going head-to-head with every other Ancient Lord, and the worst he can ever do is second best, and usually is the best. He's really unrivaled. He's really so flipping good. And then there's this. And I will say off the bat, extremely similar for Ingrid, right? And we'll get that video tomorrow where we compare them head to head. You know, these are our 4 PvP categories. We've got our Guild Wars and then our 3 arena modes. He's S+ in all of them. Ingrid's S+ in all of them. The fact that he is this dominant in all the PvE and that he's completely elite top 2 unit in the game, him and Ingrid for PvP, and combine that with the fact that he's the Lord of the rarest faction, lords over that other top 2 arena hero and PvP hero, Ingrid, that whole package. If I had a quadruple S, it'd be like him and Elwyn to me, or like the quadruple S. Decidedly, I really think as you get deep into this game, he becomes if you don't have him, which is the huge caveat we'll discuss when we do the Should You Summon on Friday. If you don't have him, and when we do our comparison with Ingrid tomorrow, if you don't have him, he's the #1 must get. I used to say for the longest time he was too strong, and I didn't even want him on my account. At this point, because I've beaten everything, I really want him on my account. And you heard it here first. I'm absolutely going to summon for him. I hope I've made my point. I guess my point isn't so deep. It's just this guy is a total freak, and we should all be absolutely psyched. The final thing I guess I could say is we got him for the anniversary. Now we're getting him for Christmas, New Year's. Nothing's to say we're getting him next anniversary. Maybe next anniversary is going to be the Lord of a new faction, or, you know, the next dual faction Lord like Ingrid, or maybe it's finally the Nightmare Lord. Maybe it takes that long. Nothing is to say, oh, we get him twice a year. That's a rule. He's been out for a full year, and it took the entire calendar year for him to have gotten the 2 rate ups. It took like 8 months, and then it took another 12 months. There's the anniversary, and then there's now for him to get the 15x. It could be a really long time. Like I said, he's not leaving the meta, and he's not going to stop dominating it anytime soon. So get absolutely pumped, guys. The Fatso, the Chubster, the Papa Pope himself, Mr. Praetus is coming. Let's go. Thank you for watching. Going to be a heck of a Praetus week. We got so much to talk about, so many different videos. We're obviously going to have a huge pulse party on Saturday. More information about that tomorrow. I've been Fastidious. Share it with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.